Welcome to the He's Got Issues Independent Comics Edition number 125.3. I'm John Cooney here to preview new independent comics being released June 11th, 2014, beginning alphabetically with Boom Studios and B and Puppycat number 2. B and Puppycat saved the day, sort of. It's a crazy life when your job is beating up bad guys and your biggest worry is paying the rent. Hopefully things will start looking up for B as she learns the ropes of her new job. Next we have Bravest Warriors 2014 Impossibear Special number 1. If there's one sassy furball in Bravest Warriors that deserves a comic dedicated to how awesome he is, it's Impossibear. Impossibear and Catbug are up to no good with the Bravest Warriors off on a mission. Between music appreciation, karate chopping space chickens, and trying to eat a Beagle witch in peace, there are plenty of shenanigans to be had. We've also got Dead Letters number 3. You can't die twice unless you're here. Sam's about to find that out the hard way as his double cross is discovered by Mr. Jones and his right-hand man Charnel, a serial killer in a past life who has found renewed vigor and purpose in the Dark City. Next we have Empty Man number 1 of 6. Why we love it? There's nothing scarier than horror that hits home, a tale of terror only 1 or 2 steps removed from our reality. The Empty Man is a dystopic version of the world we know, where a terrifying disease has taken on almost deific connotations. Why you'll love it? Colin Bunn and Vanessa R. Del Rey are 2 of the most exciting talents in the industry, and perfectly in sync on this haunting new crime procedural. What it's about? It's been 1 year since the first reported case of the Empty Man disease, and no drug has been able to slow its progress. The cause is unknown, and the symptoms include fits of rage, hideous hallucinations, suicidal dementia, followed by death, or a near-lifeless, empty state of catatonia. A murder cult rises nationwide. The FBI and CDC enter a joint investigation of the Empty Man, hoping to piece together clues to stop the cult and uncover a cure. We've also got Lumberjanes number 3. The girls have a lot more to worry about than crazy creatures and supernatural events. They have Field Day. It's a competition between the Lumberjanes and the genteel boy camp next door that's going to be filled with surprises. Next we have Peanuts, the Beagle Has Landed Charlie Brown graphic novel. Charlie Brown and the gang have got space on the brain, and Snoopy leads the way as the world-famous astronaut. While the kids play space, Snoopy has got troubles of his own with the cat next door, who has taken Snoopy's supper dish. Will our favorite Beagle get his dish back in time for dinner, or will he have to travel to the moon on an empty stomach? Fire the rockets and see what happens in this all-new original graphic novel featuring Charles M. Schultz's Peanuts. We've also got returning number 4 of 4. Beth Turner has been lied to, shot at, and put through the ringer in her quest for answers. Now, in the conclusion of Jason Starr and Andrea Mudi's thriller, Beth will find out the truth about her accident and whether the mysterious man known as Marcus is either friend or foe. And we've got Sons of Anarchy number 10, with the release from prison rapidly coming due. Jax, Clay, and the other jailed Sons of Anarchy must find a way to settle the score before they're let loose, along with the hell that's coming so close to their heels. Jail was bloody, but freedom may bring even more carnage to the Sons of Anarchy. From Dark Horse Comics, we've got Abe Sapien number 13. Haunted by guilt over the staggering death toll in Arizona, Abe vows to never let such horrors happen again until a crazed healer and a frog-possessed teen block his path. A perfect starting point for new readers. Next we have Blackout number 3 of 4. The search for Scott Travers' missing benefactor has turned up nothing but mystery and even more trouble. And this time Travers Blackout is up against 8 feet tall, cheetah fast, bulldozer strong, plasma cannon wielding maid of metal trouble. Good thing there's only 3 of them, for now. We've also got Edgar Allan Poe's Morella and the Murders in the Rue Morgue one-shot. Killer Apes and the Return of the Dead are presented in these 2 gothic horror Poe adaptations by Eisner Hall of Fame inductee Richard Corbin. The greatest horror artist of all time adapts horror's greatest author. Next we have Eve True Stories hardcover. In the early hours of February 5th, 2009, one man single-handedly destroyed the aggressive Band of Brothers alliance and brought an end to the Great War, the largest war in the history of EVE Online. Inspired by actual player-driven events within the universe of EVE Online, superstar writer Daniel Way tells the stranger-than-fiction tale of the most popular true story of the last decade. We've also got Star Wars number 18. Princess Leia's wedding day has arrived, and so has the Empire. As Darth Vader's fleet bears down on the planet, the rebels scramble to defend themselves. They've been double-crossed. And we've got X number 14. The merciless and unstoppable army calling themselves the Chosen have invaded Arcadia, starting a full-fledged war with Carmine Tango's forces. They're looking for something or someone. X is recovered from Tango's torment and is ready to pound some answers out of both parties. A game-changing new villain, a new chapter in the Project Black Sky event. From Dynamite Entertainment, we've got Ash in the Army of Darkness #8, final issue. Ash comes face to face with his own destiny as he discovers a possible clue to the origins of the Curse of the Dead, but before he can get any answers, he has to go through Sheila. This is the final throwdown in the Haunted Woods and leads to the beginning of the end for the Army of Darkness. Next we have Blood Queen #1. A dark fantasy epic begins here. In a fairy tale land of knights and magic, a royal child's life hangs in the balance. Summoned to save the princess, a young woman of untold power begins a journey that will uncover secrets, reveal forbidden desires, and stoke the fires of war. The reign in blood is about to be born. Inspired by the nightmares of your youth and the notorious Countess Bathory, Blood Queen comes from writer Troy Brownfield. We've also got Legendary at Steampunk Adventure #4 of 7, Jungle Tales. The journey to landing isn't half as easy as Magnus Barbarossa had hoped. From the aftermath of the crash, Magna is saved by a mysterious phantom and whisked away on a jungle adventure where she must prove to herself that she's more than just a damsel in distress. Next we have Pathfinder City Secrets #2 of 6. The Pathfinder heroes are plunged into danger as a new threat emerges in Magnamar. Ezra ambushed, Kara targeted, Maricel tempted by her past. Will the group endure? Come see why Pathfinder is the industry's best-selling fantasy tabletop game. Each issue features an exclusive, removable, playable tactical map and poster. And we've got Sherlock Holmes Moriarty Lives #4 of 5. The deadly game of cat and mouse between world's most notorious villain and most dangerous man in Switzerland continues to unfold with skull-cracking, wife-stealing, cattle-mutilating action. Moriarty begins to move his plan into his endgame, but he may have already been outwitted by the master alchemist who delights in murder and atrocity. Can Moriarty be evil enough to emerge as a hero, or will the people who have trusted him find themselves betrayed? The game is afoot in the penultimate issue. From IDW Publishing, we've got Angry Birds Comics #1. Angry Birds, the world's most popular mobile game franchise, makes its comic book debut. Featuring a fun-filled, action-packed story from Eisner-nominated creator Jeff Parker, these comics are ready to slingshot their way off the pages and into your hearts. Next we have Crow Pestilence #4 of 4. What Salvador thought he knew, what he thought was driving his furious vengeance, has violently shifted. And when a former enemy is revealed as a friend, these events converge to change Salvador's path forever. We've also got Dexter's Laboratory #3 of 4. Dexter has located his missing sister in an alternate dimension, in her own mind. A world of pink clouds, unicorns, and fantasy, but more importantly, a world without science. Unable to use his invention in this imaginary land, can Dexter find a way to convince his sister to return home and make things right again? Or will she keep her brother prisoner from ever returning back to his lab? The reign of Princess Didi has begun. Next we have Godzilla The IDW Era #1. The King of the Monsters is no stranger to comics, but no other company has brought him to the comic pages like IDW. Packed with a monstrous amount of artwork, this special edition book takes you through every Godzilla series from IDW, featuring work from the creators that helped make IDW's Godzilla the fan favorite. We've also got Haunted Horror #11, reprinting the best of Golden Age horror fare, unseen since the Code shut these comics down. Rare comic stories showcasing the grisliest artists and the most shocking tales captured in full lurid color. Next we have Rocky and Bullwinkle #4 of 4. In The Burger Monster, Boris and Natasha have a new scheme to undermine this country. They open a fast food stand selling the craziest fast food item ever. But how will that help them in their fight for evil? Bullwinkle has a recipe for a burger that tastes twice as good, but with a catch. And in moving experience, Nell hears the Dudleys moving to another camp and Horse is going with. How will she stop the transfer? We've also got Rogue Trooper Classics #2 of 12. Clone War, New Earth, a planet ravaged by war, its atmosphere poisoned by chemical weapons. In this battle-scarred landscape, the Norths and Southers fight where only the genetic infantrymen can survive unaided. Rogue is one such soldier, and these are his tales. Created by Jerry Finley Day and Dave Gibbons of Watchmen, this series features the earliest stories surrounding one of 2000 AD's best-loved characters, all in color for the very first time. Next we have Sinister Dexter #7 of 7. Cal Cutter is new to the gunshark business, but being an assassin apprenticed to Sinister, and Dexter is giving him more than enough on-the-job training. What lesson will he learn when the next job is the girl of his dreams? We've also got Star Mage #3 of 6. Rebellion and Desertion, J.C. De La Torre's saga of space and wizardry continues as daring adjusts to school at Lamdu Kishpu, meets new friends and learns of the treachery of his brother Orasmus. Erasmus reveals his new unstoppable weapon, one Darien thought was lost forever. gorgeously illustrated by artist Franco Cepitas, issue 3 will have a lasting effect on the rest of the series. Next, we have Star Trek number 34, Lost Apollo concludes here. Stranded on an alien world and cut off from the Enterprise, Spock and Bones must work together to save Captain Kirk from a fate worse than death, a fate tied to the earliest days of humanity's journey to the stars. Overseen by Star Trek writer-producer Roberto Orci, this all-new adventure continues the 5-year mission between the new movies. We've also got Transformers Robots in Disguise number 30, Galvatron the Barbarian. From Cybertron's ancient past comes the warrior king Galvatron. Once he united Cybertron and ushered in a golden age, now he wants to do the same to Earth, but Optimus Prime has a problem with that plan. And we've got Wraith, Welcome to Christmasland number 7 of 7, Epilogue, Phantoms. You've worked the big grift your whole life, conning a fortune off the rubes and always on the run from enemies, shadows, and phantoms. But no one outruns the Wraith, not with Charlie Manx behind the wheel. From Image Comics, we've got Manifest Destiny number 7, new story arc. Lewis, Clark, and the surviving members of their expedition continue westward, only to learn there's nowhere to run on the river. Next, we have Real Heroes number 3, Lost and Alone in a World They Only Knew as Fiction. The cast of the Olympians movies are beginning to realize things aren't as easy when fantasy is made reality. The dangers are all too real, and it might mean their deaths when Brainchild and Brute come to defeat the world's greatest heroes. We've also got Red City number 1. In the wake of a system-wide civil war, hard-nosed interplanetary investigator Cal Talmadge is given a simple mission to find a missing ambassador's daughter in Mars Central, aka Red City. The routine case quickly complicates as Cal finds himself in the midst of rival alien mobs, street vendettas, and political conspiracies. He struggles with personal demons as he discovers that another war is brewing and the lives of an entire race hang in the balance. Next, we have Revenge number 4 of 4, miniseries conclusion. Griffin Franks is finished, done for, as good as dead. At least that's what his trophy wife Candy believes, but she's wrong. When Griffin's beloved dog Lobo dies in his arms, the trigger is pulled. If you wrong us, shall we not revenge? You bet your ass he will. After all, he is the Revenger. We've also got Shudder number 3, special Joe Keating's birthday issue. It's a day of celebration for our beloved writer, but a day of horrible consequences for Kate Christopher. Major loss comes when the life Kate left behind sends an assassin with a gigantic bomb gun after her. All this plus a Triceratops. Next we have Starlight number 4. Duke and his young companion are getting deeper into Tantalus's underground movement, doing everything they can to infiltrate the invaders and meeting some unlikely allies. It's been 40 years since Duke last held a gun. Does he still have what it takes to drive out alien invaders and save Tantalus for a second time? We've also got Tales of Honor number 3. The Honorverse expands to comics. Based on the best-selling military science fiction novels by David Weber, this original comic book series continues the story of Honor Harrington as she investigates the threat to Basilisk Station in the Republic of Haven. Next we have That's Because You're a Robot one-shot. 2 cops, one's a robot, only they don't know which. BAFTA winner and writer on the HBO's award-winning Veep, David Quintick, teams up with the Bulletproof Coffin's Shaky Kane on this migraine-inducing pop art cop buddy one-shot set in the near-future Los Angeles. Warning, contains oversized patrol cars and perilous situations. We've also got The Walking Dead number 128. After all this time, she should be more prepared. And we've got Wildfire number 1. Is genetically modified food an end to world hunger or a first-class ticket to the apocalypse? Dan Miller is a plant biologist working with a small team perfecting an accelerated plant growth process. When things go wrong, Los Angeles pays the price in a disaster story unlike any before. From Valiant Entertainment, we've got Archer and Armstrong number 21. Living it up at the Hotel California. Dead celebrities, an extra-dimensional hotel, the truth about the Doors, and that was all in the first issue. Fred Van Lent's groundbreaking run continues as Archer and Armstrong face off against their greatest foe, the Lizard King, as the fate of reality itself hangs in the balance. Next we have Armor Hunters number 1 of 4. This summer Earth will be the greatest hunt of all when Valiant First unleashes the first issue of 2014's must-read crossover event, Armor Hunters. From superstar creators Robert Venditti of Green Lantern and the Flash and Doug Braithwaite of Unity, a relentless and surgical strike team from the farthest reaches of space, sworn to exterminate the Exo Manowar armor and all like it, have found finally their final target. They will hunt, they will trap, they will kill, and they will rid the universe of the Exo Manowar's incalculable destructive power, even if it means taking the Earth with it. In the tradition of Harbinger Wars, Valiant's biggest heroes launch into the summer's blockbuster 18-issue crossover event right here in Armor Hunters #1, and then take the fight to the world's first full-scale cosmic threat with Unity #8 and Exo Manowar #26 in June, and Armor Hunters Bloodshot and Armor Hunters Harbinger in July. And we've got Bloodshot and Hardcore #23, Bloodshot vs. Hardcore Round 3. The 6 men and women of Hardcore are all that stand between Bloodshot and everything he's ever wanted, the total destruction of Project Rising Spirit. The clock is ticking down to 0, the stakes are life or death, and no one in this fight has anything left to lose. Okay, so that's a look at some of the top independent publishers this week, but there's still plenty of other books out as well, so be sure to check out my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com to see both the Marvel and DC videos for this week, as well as my usual roundup of all my favorites for the week with a little more depth and insight than you get here. And if you like these videos, be sure to let me know by leaving a comment and subscribing. You can also follow He's Got Issues on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Tumblr to see everything I'm reading as I read it. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.